Welcome to this episode of Illumination Podcast with Nick and KISMA. I'm Nick, and today we are concluding our series on how to move from chaos to calm. This is a good one, everybody. You're going to love it.
Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and KISMA, bringing you ancient wisdom for modern day success so that you can have the mindset to get your life and business set.
As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the podcast, take a quick second to hit the subscribe button in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. If you want to get the inside info for this and every episode, as well as some free gifts, go to illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. And now let's dive in to get your mindset for your life and business set.
Hello there, Nick.
Hello there, KISMA.
What's going on with you?
Wow. Just all kinds of good things. You know, something I'm really excited about is I finally kicked off the Mystics Meditations.
You did. Can we talk about that for a moment?
Yeah.
'Cause I bet our listeners would love those Mystic Meditations.
Yeah, I mean, as of the recording of this, I have one completed right now. But what's cool about it is it's specifically for physical healing, like releasing pain and
good one,
and fatigue in the body, so that you can be restored and replenished and kind of resetting the body's systems. So it's a very deep level of healing, and I got to use my bowls on it.
You love your singing bowls.
So we'll somewhere along the line, we'll put a photo of the new office in here, and it's got a wall of singing bowls.
Yeah, it really does.
It's so cool to be able to.
How did they reach your Mystics Meditation?
Well, if you just go to, nickhansinger.com, just go to my homepage, and up in the top or in the menu, you're going to see online learning. Click there.
Okay,
and
cool.
You'll see there's an icon for it on that page. The Mystics Academy. That's one of the kickoffs for the Mystics Academy. So things are starting to take fruition, and I'm
it's exciting.
Super excited about it. Yeah,
very exciting.
Mystics Meditations. There's going to be one on brain activation. There's definitely going to be like a very deep kind of healing in the flow sort of meditation. And the next one, I'm pretty sure the next one is really how to deal with anxiety.
Oh, that's
so it's
a
like
good
an
one.
anxiety busting meditation.
Good.
Yeah, I've got it all mapped out in my head. I can't wait to record it.
Well, let's get it out of your head and into recording. Awesome. And today, this is part 3 of our series, going from chaos to calm. And just to kind of recap everyone, on part 1, we talked about the fact that you have the ability to create calm. I think that's one of the most important things, is to acknowledge and to know that you're capable. You have a body, you have a mind, your emotions, you have an intellect, and that intellect is that driver, that engineer. It's like, hang on, is this how I want to feel? So it gives you the power to choose. And then in the second part, we talked about what's really going on inside. How are you receiving information? How are you reacting? And then in what way do you respond? And, this is such an important piece of self-mastery, is to be able to pause and decide how you want to respond in order to attain what you want, or what you want to see down the road with the relationship that you might be having a conversation with, or a project, etc.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I want to clean up, just for anybody who's kind of wondering about the intellect thing. If you haven't been following along in the series, or maybe it's just kind of a new concept for you. The use of this term comes from the Vedanta teachings, which KISMA's been, well, both of us actually, KISMA's been diving back into
Rocking
full
out.
force. Yeah, and it's really cool. Like, it just always is so much gold in there. The intellect in this context is not, it's not like, certainly not knowledge and information, but it's not even like the think kind of way of manifesting with your mind. Like, I'm going to think my way through this, and I'm going to guide it and will it into being with my mind. It's not that at all. Like, the intellect is basically your decider, your choosing mechanism that gets to do that in a really objective way. And that's one of the things that we're going to dive into today. Some places where that gets turned upside down, and also like how to use the intellect in its proper form to right the ship.
Yeah, great clarification. So today, this is, take a breath, everyone, because this is an interesting one. And that is for you to ponder that in some way, if there's chaos in your life, you've created it.
Dun, dun, dun.
We should have one of the big singing bowls. Boing. I know. We're like, no. I did not create this. I did not manifest this. I did not bring it. In some way, you attracted it. This is not a good, bad, right, or wrong thing. Take that out. If you have chaos in your life or it comes and it goes, this does not mean you're a bad person. But it's really from, there's a beautiful teaching that I want to share. It's actually so basic. It's by Earl Nightingale, who's one of the founders of personal growth in this way. And he's the author of a book called The Strangest Secret. And he put it very simply, and this is back like in the 1940s or 50s. What is going on in the inside shows on the outside. What is going on in the inside shows on the outside. This is why, it's always like fascinating to me to watch people who are in a lot of agitation or anger, and then they start breaking their computers or they drop something and they're trying to figure out why. There's something going on in you, and it will go on. It'll show on the outside.
Yeah. I'd like to encourage everybody to look at this more in a personal scale to start. Mm-hmm. So if you start looking out at the world and
don't look at everybody else,
right, and seeing chaos out in the world and in everybody's life, and you're like, I didn't create that. Well, okay, like let's just kind of leave all that alone. And if you look at it in a personal context, you'll really understand how to start to solve it yourself. And then you'll get to watch your world change in really amazing ways. But if you go to the external first, or into the biggest of the big of chaos that we see in the world, and go and try to fix that, right, with this, then you're going to...
Don't fix others. Yeah, don't fix others.
It's a tough road to...
Stay in your own lane. Yeah. Stay in your own lane. This work is for you.
We did a whole episode on
We did. I don't know which one it is, but it's recent. Stay in your own lane. And it takes a great amount of courage and vulnerability and trust and working with the universal laws and spirit, source, God, to be like, okay, I'm going to examine, why is it that, what is the benefit? What's this little reward that I might get when I create chaos in my life?
Yeah, that's the best question. The why, right? That's like, it's such a spinning energy.
It's a spinning energy.
It makes more crazy in your world. But when you ask something like that, like, what am I actually getting from this? Then you have a much more clear path to your motivation behind creating it.
Exactly.
And then you can decide differently, right?
And so at first I'll be like, no, I don't get anything. I don't get anything.
Yeah, nothing. Or they list off all the bad things that they're getting.
True. All the bad things. Take a breath and look at it this way. Is there some place where, I mentioned this in the first episode, you get a rush of energy, or you get to create chaos so that you can then go fix it, which is a marvelous feeling for anybody who loves to create order.
Yeah.
Oh, whoosh, now I'm going to go make everything right, which will then give you a sense of false safety.
Yeah. That's an addiction to drama.
It's an addiction to drama, an addiction to chaos, or you might be getting attention from some people. It's like, I'm going to spin, blah. And then somebody has to give you attention, or you demand attention, but it's done out of connection. It's not connected attention. It's like, there he goes again, or there she goes again kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not a healthy kind of attention. It won't really fuel you either. Like when you look at it, there's a specific driver that needs attention. And I think that one's an interesting one because it gets a little bit of a bad rap, like, oh, that person's so needy, and he shouldn't need that kind of attention or praise. Like, it really can get judged in an unkind way. And when people have that, there is a true need for attention, for accolades, for things like that. And when they go about, if you have that, and it's a much more popular driver than you might think, when it gets fed in a negative way, it won't feel nourishing. It's basically like eating junk food.
Right.
Right. So it's like,
Quick fix.
Yeah. You'll feel better for a minute and you keep
crash.
playing the same game and then it's just back to square one.
Right.
So that's a really important one. Then I think with the control.
Yeah. I'm going to mess it up so I can make it right.
This one's really funny because, both KISMA and I have this order driver, which is the whole reason that we're sitting here in basically a fully completed studio in 3 weeks since we moved? Less than 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 95% fully moved in, set up, good to go. It's because you have two really strong order drivers.
We're creating order now.
So it's a very fascinating driver because what happens then is if you want to, like, you create chaos, people will subconsciously create chaos without even realizing that they're doing it because they get to be able to then create order again.
Right.
It's the equivalent of taking a fully made puzzle and busting it all apart just so that you can put it back together again. Right? It's a way of distracting. It's often a way of distracting from what you really want to accomplish. So maybe you're getting kind of close to that goal, or maybe things in your life are feeling, much, much better and kind of the way that you want it to. And then there's that subconscious part that's like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's time to break something.
Yeah, you're used to chaos. You're used to chaos.
Yeah. And so then you start to kind of control things, and then the harder you grip it, it falls apart, and then you get to put it back together. And it's like, well, why did you create this chaos? Right? And when you ask the why, you're like, I don't know. And you start to look for all the reasons, and maybe it was my childhood and all these millions of different things that it could be. But when you look at, like, what am I getting from this?
Yeah.
That's a very, very valuable way to look at it.
It's like a little reward. And one of the important things as well to look at, it's tied into, we did a series on The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, is at some point, if there's chaos, you will be diverted away from a goal. You'll stop something that you've been working on, wanting to do, and it becomes that upper limiter. It's like, I don't know, going and doing this and being visible and being out there, it's a little bit too scary. So I'm going to create some chaos in my personal life.
Yeah. Going back to the very first episode, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice to have that in your life, and it's being used for a reason. And everybody's got their own different nuances to the reasons, but knowing yours is extremely valuable. Because then you get to decide different. I don't know how many, I'll say that 1,000,000 times if I have to, is like, you get to decide differently. That's the beauty of it. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
And it's not about making it wrong. We're taking wrong out of this. Yet the pivot, the quote fix, if you might, is just going back through the cycle. Like, if you go back to part 1 of the series, we talked about you have within you what you need to calm the chaos. So when you're like, okay, well, what do I do to stop this cycle? How do I keep going? First, you just got to know you have the materials and start by observing, right? That episode, we're like, sit, observe your body, observe your breath, observe your thoughts, become an observer. Now, as you've also went through noticing what you receive, how you react, how you respond, now you're observing why, in what way, or what little reward you got when you create chaos. Why on earth would you have chaos? And so you're observing all the pieces that are moving in your life, and really look at that piece, that place where you get so far and you stop.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. And if you are willing to look at that in a humble way, you'll see all the different times and ways that you've done that in your life. Mm-hmm. This is not a new thing. Right?
It's not a new thing. And definitely what you don't want to do is like, look at all the time I've wasted creating. No.
No.
It's not that. It's just being like, wow, this is a fascinating pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Curiosity.
Yeah. Like, look what I do. And, chaos shows up differently for different people. Chaos can be a whole bunch of doubt moving around internally.
Yeah.
You can have an internal chaotic response to something that's all about doubt and worry and anxiety.
Yeah. I'm typically more of an internal chaos kind of person.
Yeah. And then he breaks our steam shower or something.
I didn't break it. I did not break that.
I'm just saying you're over potential.
I did get pretty excited. There's one I'd like to talk about that creates chaos too, is overcomplicating things.
Yes.
Right, this is one I'm very prone to. Right, I have to make a very conscientious decision to keep things simple. When I do, I'm so happy, but it's not my natural tendency. But it's something that I've seen a lot, having it in me. I see it in a lot of people as well. It's like, man, that could be like so much simpler. Like, why are we making this so complicated? And I think part of it is that there's a misunderstanding that it can't be that simple, right? And that if it's complicated, it's cool and it's better and whatever. Right. So there's like kind of like the sexy part about complex and complicated. But then there's also that piece where there's a subconscious part that like lays the trap. Like, all right, we're going to set this up. We're going to set up this little system so that there's like a million different ways it can break, right? Rather than just keeping it really, really simple. And it's a way of creating chaos. Yeah. Because when you've got a complex system, like whatever that is, when things get way over, you're trying to do one simple thing and it gets super complicated. It's a way of creating chaos in your life. And you want to look at, well, what do I get from that?
Yeah. And very likely you're missing the very thing that you want, which could be right in front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And lose so much energy in the process. Yes. Oh, yeah. It's such a massive, massive energy drain. It's ridiculous. So in order to move from that chaos to calm, everyone, really observe, get real with what you're putting into your life, how you're responding, how you're reacting, how you're responding. And this piece is such gold. It's like, what are the little rewards I get from creating chaos? This
is where you'll have the opportunity to unwind it in a more deep way in your life.
Yeah. Right? It will help to journal around it, kind of from brain to pen to paper. Definitely, if you have questions around it, email us at hello@illuminationpodcast.com. And if you'd like to go even deeper into creating more calm and certainty, this episode is brought to you by my audio training, Calm the Chaos, which can be located in the show notes of illuminationpodcast.com or go to kismaawake.com/calm-the-chaos.
Yeah, personally, I think that'd be the best way, right? It's just have somebody guide you through the process. That's the tricky part when you're working with your own mind and particularly with your subconscious mind, is that you are blind to your own tricks oftentimes. Right. And it's really hard. Like, it's super humbling to say like, oh yeah, I'm totally doing that because I need some attention, or I'm totally doing that because I just need chaos in my life right now. Like, those are the things that are really challenging. But when you have somebody to hold you through a process in a really loving way to guide you through it into your highest, into your calm on the other side of that, man, that is powerful.
It's good. It's good stuff. And also, just remember who you are, this amazing human being with an amazing, powerful universe, God, source all around you and within you that is ready to respond to what you put in, how you think, how you speak, how you act, and that you really can be the master of your life.
I just love it when you go cosmic.
Going cosmic. So we're here for you. Love you all. Please share this episode with someone that you think might enjoy it. Hop on over to iTunes and your favorite podcast places. Give us a rate and review. And until next time, we're sending you a love, harmony, and calm.
Peace.
Namaste. Hey, thanks for jamming with us today. And if you enjoy Illumination Podcast, please go ahead and share it with someone you love. Give us a rating, review, download our podcast. And remember, you can find us at illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. Talk to you soon. Namaste.